Hello Internet, welcome back to another episode of Pokémon Generation 1. In the last episode, we made it here to Celadon City and shiny hunted. Yep, if you weren't there, that'll be confusing because this is a game without color, quote unquote. You know what I mean by without color, I'd assume. That shiny Pokemon is our newest team member, Eevee, and we'll be talking more about nicknaming this Pokemon later, but for now, it's just worth noting that we have a shiny Eevee, even if it's only on a technicality, and I am still overjoyed about that, like, almost a week later. On top of that, we caught Lamp, our second newest team member technically at this point, a Vulpix, and Eevee is already higher leveled, so that's gonna be something to work on, probably. We sort of left off in a weird position where we've explored, like, the first two buildings here in Celadon City. This city is massive, as I'm pretty sure I've already pointed out, so we have a lot to see first. But our first stop of the day, find what you need at Celadon Department Store. Welcome to the department store, or the mall if you're a normal person. Hello, welcome to Celadon Department Store. The board on the right describes the store layout. First floor is the service counter, second floor is the trainer's market, third floor is the TV game shop, fourth floor is Wise Man Gifts, fifth floor is the drugstore, and the rooftop square is vending machine. That's all they have on the rooftop. I mean, I know in Japan it's slightly more normal to, like, have things on building rooftops, but in the United States, at least, it's definitely pretty abnormal. Usually rooftops are, like, you need to have permission to enter them. But that's fine. We're gonna head on up to the second floor. This place is laid out differently in different games, so I'm always gonna be a little bit more confused on, like, where everything is in this game. For long outings, you should buy Revive. True, but you should speak properly. Hi there, may I help you? This gentleman sells TMs. A lot of them, in fact. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He sells 9 TMs, and let me just say, some of these TMs are really good. They actually bring Pokemon from, like, unusably bad to having a niche, which is important in Generation 1 when there's so few Pokemon. TM32 is Double Team. This just increases a Pokemon's evasion by 1 stage. It makes it so they're harder to hit. Reflect. This increases the defense stat of the user when hit by physical attacks until being switched out. In future games, there's not only ways to remove this from an opponent, but also it only lasts 3 to 5 turns. In this game, that is not so. It just lasts until you switch out, and it can't be removed except for Haze. Razor Wind. This charges 1 turn and attacks the nest. Next, not the nest. It can be paused but not interrupted, similar to Bide. It's only 80 power and 75 accuracy. This is a bad move. Horn Drill. This is a 30% accuracy move that instantly defeats the target. It cannot affect a target whose speed stat is higher than the user's, though. A lot of Pokemon we've caught up to this point can learn this move. It's a very good move when paired with a certain item that makes it so accuracy checks are completely bypassed. Yeah. Egg Bomb. 100 power, 75 accuracy, deals damage. Just use Body Slam. Mega Punch. 80 power, 85 accuracy, just deals damage. Just use Body Slam. Mega Kick. 120 power, 75 accuracy, deals damage. Just use Body Slam. Takedown, 90 power, 85% accuracy, deals damage and does 1/4 of the damage back to the user as recoil. Just use Body Slam. Or Double Edge, or Hyper Beam, or any other normal type move for that matter. And Submission. This is the strongest fighting type move in the game. It's essentially just a slightly weaker takedown, but fighting type. And slightly less accurate because it's 80% compared to 85%. Just deals damage and does 1/4 of the damage dealt as recoil. This is the best fighting type move that most fighting type Pokemon get, so yeah. And this guy, I think, just sells the usual. Great Ball, Super Potion, yeah. Just the usual. I don't think we actually need any of this right now. We're pretty well stocked at the moment. So, heading up to the next floor. This guy. Oh, hi. I finally finished Pokémon. Not done yet? This might be useful. TM18. For free. Bet you didn't expect to get anything for free in the shopping mall. Okay. TM15 is the move Counter. Counter is sort of complicated in Generation 1. If the last damage done before the use of Counter is greater than 0 and was dealt by a normal or fighting type attack, Counter will do twice as much damage to the opponent. It deals fighting type damage, but isn't affected by type effectiveness, meaning it can hit targets that fighting types normally can't, and it will miss if it fails due to receiving non-normal or fighting type damage. You may think only being able to counter normal and fighting type moves is a pretty big downside, but considering the fact that almost all of the strongest moves in the game are normal type, yeah, this move is still pretty good. Other than that, I don't think there's anything you can do on this floor. Captured Pokemon are registered with an ID number and OT, the name of the original trainer that caught it. We know. Come on, Graveler. I love Graveler. I collect them. Huh? Graveler turned into a different Pokemon. Alright, my buddy's going to trade me his Kangaskhan for my Graveler. That dude just collects Graveler. He's like me in the Rock Tunnel. I don't know why I was so hyper-focused on Graveler in that video. You can identify Pokemon you got in trades by their ID numbers. An RPG! There's no time for that. Me, for real? There's so many RPG games that I want to play that I just can't because they'll take so long. A sports game! Dad'll like that! So the player character in Generation 1 is confirmed to have a dad. My dad would like that too, but I don't care. A puzzle game. Looks addictive. Tetris on the Game Boy for me. A fighting game. Looks tough. I mean, all of those comments are true. Alright. This floor. This is one of the most important floors. They sell Pokédolls, which instantly ends any wild encounter regardless of whether you'd be able to escape normally, and this can also be used to sequence break, actually, which we'll talk about later. Firestone evolves certain species of Pokemon. Thunderstone evolves certain species of Pokemon. Waterstone evolves certain species of Pokemon, and the Leafstone evolves certain species of Grass-type Pokemon. That's where the caveat comes in. These stones are the methods to evolve Eevee. Well, except the Leafstone. That won't work on Eevee for another 7 generations, so let's talk about Eevee's evolutions. Starting with Flareon. Flareon is interesting. It won't be learning any Fire-type moves until level 31 in Red and Blue and until level 36 in Yellow due to the fact that its level-up moves were changed and you can't obtain Eevee any lower than level 25. On top of that, you're going to be waiting until a whopping level 54 or 52 to learn a Fire-type move better than Ember or Fire Spin. Fire Spin is a nice move to have, don't get me wrong, Partial Trapping is very good in Red and Blue, but unfortunately, Flareon is so slow that it's likely to be knocked out before it can start its attempts at Partial Trapping. Unfortunately, until that high level, when it finally learns a decent fire move, or until we get a TM for one, which is still going to be a very long time, Flareon is outclassed by pretty much every fire type other than Growlithe. One thing I will say though, its attack stat is very good. It learns Body Slam. If it procs Paralysis with Body Slam, maybe then it can use Fire Spin decently well? I don't know. Unfortunately, now and forever, Flareon is outclassed by all of its counterparts. Jolteon is the best of the evolutions, at least competitively speaking. An insane combination of 130 speed and 110 special means that not only can it switch into special-based threats incredibly easily, but it can fire back with its own Thunderbolts and land critical hits more than 25% of the time. It learns both Double Kick and Pin Missile through level up, though much earlier in Yellow than in Red and Blue, and while its attack stat isn't anything special, it still appreciates the type coverage to fill in its last 2 move slots aside from Thunderbolt and Thunderwave. It's also the strongest user of any Bug-type moves in the game, for what it's worth. If you need something to deal super effective damage to Psychic types, Jolteon's your best bet, especially considering it can usually take at least 1 Psychic attack before fainting. It's a very one-note Pokemon, but that one note hits just right. Like that one note Andrew Garfield sings in Y in the Netflix adaptation of Tick, Tick, Boom.
I make a vow.
A pretty niche reference, but that's what my brain came up with when I wrote this bio. And last, but certainly not least, Vaporeon. Vaporeon is a bulky Pokemon with an obvious preference for its special stat. It's a very slow Pokemon, obviously, leaving it susceptible to partial trapping from faster opponents, but it makes up for that in the fact that it can hit a ton of very common threats for super effective damage using water and ice-type moves. Unfortunately, it will probably be stuck with Bubble Beam as its water-type move for a long time. In Red and Blue, we only get Water Gun at level 31, and in Yellow, you're waiting until level 52 for it to learn Hydro Pump, which is inaccurate. Vaporeon also, unfortunately, mostly learns physical moves, leaving its move pool pretty shallow when it comes to overall offensive coverage. It makes up for that by getting Haze, a move that resets stat changes to both active Pokemon and removes the stat reductions of Burns and Paralysis. It also removes Focus Energy and Dire Hit, which is a bad thing because if the opponent uses those moves, it actually just decreases their critical hit chance. Mist and Guard Spec, which is a good thing for you. X Accuracy, Leech Seed, Disable, Reflect, Light Screen, it cures confusion, it turns toxic poison into regular poison, it removes any non-volatile status effects. Look, Haze has a lot of uses, and while I wouldn't necessarily recommend it on a moveset, I just had to find a spot to talk about how many ridiculous things Haze does. In the end, Vaporeon is a good user of a lot of moves, and I just genuinely recommend it over a lot of other water-type Pokemon, and that's saying something, because water is one of the most common types in the Kanto region. If it isn't obvious, I am going to be evolving Eevee into Vaporeon. Which we need a Water Stone for. I know Vulpix evolves via Firestone, but we aren't going to be evolving Vulpix for quite a while, so let's just go ahead and evolve Eevee now, because Eevee is not getting anything out of being Eevee. If you were curious what our new Vaporeon would look like if traded to Pokemon Crystal now, here's Vaporeon's Shiny Sprite in Pokemon Crystal. And here is Vaporeon's Shiny 3D model in Pokemon Stadium 2. On top of that, here is Vaporeon's current Shiny, because I know Shinies are sort of inconsistent. Okay. We'll get more moves to teach this thing soon. I'd also like to ask here for nickname suggestions. You can suggest them in the comments of this video, on Twitter by adding me at WinterNetLP, or in the Winternet Discord server. My only request: keep it separate from the copy pasta. Yes, I know it exists. No, I do not want it anywhere near this channel. I'll go ahead and go to the Pokemon Center later, pick out some TMs to teach Vaporeon that I deposited in PC, because there's some really good ones that we have already that Vaporeon will be a great user of. But anyway, we're just gonna head right on to the next floor. Which is another great floor, sells a lot of useful items. First, this guy, he sells vitamins, and this is where I'm actually going to go over what exactly these things do. The HP up adds 2,560 HP stat experience per use until reaching 25,600. Stat experience maxes out at 65,535 and takes a very long time to max for every stat, so 10 of these gets you about a third of the way there. For a hefty price, though. Protein does the same but for the attack stat. Iron does the same but for the defense stat, Calcium does the same but for the special stat, and Carbos does the same but for the speed stat. I did those in the wrong order because I listed them in my notes in the order that I imagined them as, but in Generation 1, for some reason, speed always comes before special. Yeah, so stat experience is basically Generation 1 and 2's equivalent of the modern game's EV system. Not to be confused with Eevee. It is a lot simpler in some ways, and it's more complicated in the way that instead of a maximum of 252, you can have a maximum of 65,535 in any stat. This guy sells X accuracies, which bypass all accuracy checks for the user, which is broken with some Pokemon and moves, like the Horndrill TM we can buy in this very building. Guard Spec, which prevents the opponent's stat-lowering moves from working, but it has no effect on added effects such as those from Aurora Beam or Psychic. Dire Hit, which reduces the user's chance of getting a critical hit by 75% due to a glitch. Focus Energy has the same effect, which is why I haven't mentioned it on any of the Pokemon that learn it. X Attack increases the attack stat by 1 stage in battle, but wears off after switching out. Same for X Defend, but for defend. Same for X Speed, but for speed. And same for X Special, but for special. All of those are good. The X Accuracy is the one you're probably going to get the most use out of. And finally onto the final floor. My sister is a trainer, believe it or not, but she's so immature, she drives me nuts. I'm thirsty, I want something to drink! Well, luckily, there are vending machines here. Vending machine, we can buy fresh water. This restores 50 HP and is just a cheaper super potion, which I will buy one of. Soda Pop, this restores 60 HP. Don't know why that's more effective than literal spring water. And Lemonade. This restores 80 HP and is a better super potion for cheaper than a super potion. I recommend buying 2 fresh waters, but we only need 1 of each. Once you have these drinks, go to this girl. Give her a drink? Yes, let's give her a fresh water. Yay! Fresh water! Thank you! You can have this from me. TM13. This contains Ice Beam, a 90 power? It's either 90 or 95. 90 power, 95 power, 100 accuracy Ice-type move with a 10% chance to freeze the opponent. This is an absurdly good move, and it's going on Vaporeon actually immediately because, yeah, this move is really important. There is a better Ice-type move in the game, but not much. If you give her a Soda Pop... Yay! Soda Pop! Thank you! You can have this from me! TM48. TM48 contains Rock Slide. It can spook the target sometimes. By spook the target, she means it has a chance of making the opponent flinch. That is going immediately. On Annabelle. And goodbye, Sand Attack. If you give her a Lemonade... Yay! Lemonade! Thank you! You can have this from me. TM49. This is Tri-Attack. Yeah, that's all she has to say about it too. It's an 80 power, 100 accuracy normal type move with no added effect. Yeah. So it has 3 possible added effects in Generation 2 and onward, but not in Generation 1. I didn't actually know this until starting to do research. It's just a pretty boring, like, it's Body Slam without the chance to paralyze, basically. With that done, though, I'll meet you back at the Pokemon Center so we can look at some TMs and see what we want on Vaporeon. TM11 is the one containing Bubble Beam, which is very good for Vaporeon. And I think TM44 containing Rest will also be pretty good. From the Pokemon Center, we are going to head south. There's 2 buildings here. We're gonna keep walking because we can go in here, but there's better things to do first. Or rather, I want to save that for last because it's complicated. This guy's telling me about the sign, not this guy, is telling me about the guard spec, which we already talked about. There's a guy here talking about the Sylph Scope in Fire Red and Leaf Green, and some part of my brain thought he'd be here in this too. I blew it all at the slots. I knew I should have cashed in my coins for prizes. I had to decide how I was gonna moan, and it was uncomfortable to think about. What are you staring at? Nothing, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am. Here's a restaurant. The man at the table lost all of the slots. My Pokemon are weak, so I often have to go to the drugstore. Me too. Hi! We're taking a break now. That's fine. Enjoy your break. Psst, there's a basement under the game corner. You don't say. Go ahead, laugh. I'm flat out busted. No more slots for me, I'm going straight. Here, I won't be needing this anymore. You don't look straight. Thanks. The coin case. We'll talk about this item in a little bit. There's not much we can do with it now, but if we head in here... Don't touch the poster at the game corner. There's no secret switch behind it. I believe you. Chief! We just shipped 2,000 Pokemon as slot prizes. The slots just reel in the dough! Big time! Chief is actually a trainer class in this game that goes completely unused. Uses the same sprite as the scientist trainer class. It's interesting, but I don't think it's actually referring to that Chief. My sis brought me on this vacation. I'm on vacation with my brother and boyfriend. Celadon is such a pretty city. Why did she bring her brother? Genuinely maybe the funniest line in this game. Pokemon? No, this is a hotel for people. We're full up. So, this hotel, it's pretty obvious it just uses the Pokemon Center sprite set, and that goes to there being an invisible PC in here. I think everyone knows about this. This isn't really a surprise, but I don't know. This makes me giggle a little bit every time. I love the invisible PC. Heading even further south is a dead end. What a shock. So, Celadon City does have a gym if we walk all the way over here. And over here. There it is. We need cut to access it, so we're going to be ignoring it for now. The game corner is bad for our city's image. Say what you will, I love gambling. The city of Rainbow Dreams. This is the gayest city in the game in more ways than one, actually, but we'll go into that. Okay. Now that that's done, I think we're ready to head in. Rocket Game Corner, the playground for grown-ups. This song is so fun. Alright. If we head up here, we're just gonna head right to this desk. Welcome to Rocket Game Corner. Do you need some game coins? It's 1,000 for 50. Would you like some? So you could go ahead and purchase coins for the game corner. It's 50 for 1,000 as he said, and you can exchange your coins for prizes next door. What is your job? We'll worry about coins at a different point though. Well, not a different point, but basically, there's hidden items all over this place, and all of them are essentially just different values of coins. That was 20 coins, here's 100 coins. There's some people that will give you coins. What's up, want some coins? 20 coins. This gentleman. Hey, what? You're throwing me off, here's some coins, shoo! 20 coins. Just a tile below him, 10 coins. 10 coins, 10 coins, 20 coins. Kid, do you want to play? 10 coins, 20 coins, 10 coins, 10 coins, 10 coins, and last but not least, 10 coins. We now have 280 coins before we've even had to spend any money in here. This is the nicest casino of all time. So, gambling. A slot machine. You can actually play the slots. In Generation 1, none of the machines have increased odds, so play on whichever machine you like. Or at least, that's what I thought when I was doing my research, but I was wrong. So there are 35 machines, with not all of them being playable, but almost every one, aside from 3 of them, are given an ID ranging from 0 to 31 every time you enter the building. Basically, here's the winning strategy. Enter the game corner, play the machine in the bottom right-hand corner 4 times. Your rolls are predetermined before you start playing, so it's not actually worth, like, going out of your way. Play at least 4 times. If you don't win at least twice, leave and come back. And repeat. Maybe don't always go with ×3 because you're gonna lose a lot more coins that way. Poliwag lined up, scored 15 coins. Alright. We're off to a good start. Only 1 win. The way that these slot machines are weighted, you essentially have a 29% chance of getting a small win and a 1% chance of getting a big win. Speak of the devil, there's a small win. But we want to get at least 2 wins in 4 times playing. And every time we don't, we want to leave and come back. Alright. I'm gonna call it, I've already lost well over 130 coins total from the start, and that means a lot more because I won some along the way. Look. Here's the strategy. Just gonna go over it again. Enter. Play the machine in the bottom right-hand corner 4 times. If you don't win at least twice, leave and come back. Repeat until you win at least 2 times. If you win more than twice, keep going until you enter what is known as Super Lucky Mode. At that point, you are assigned the number 60, which decreases with every win. There's also a 50% chance that it will switch to a 0 after getting a 777, and a 100% chance if you get a triple bar. Once you get 3 bars or lose 5 times in a row, Super Lucky Mode is over. Exit, come back, repeat. This would be largely meaningless, but there is one Pokémon locked behind this mechanic, the price and coins of which is different between red and blue version. Luckily, it's cheaper in blue at 6,500 coins as opposed to the bullshit 9,999 in red and yellow. Anyway, here's what all the stuff on the slots means. The symbol is different, but there's some that are the same in every game, so 777, no matter what, is 300 coins as the payout. Triple bar is 100 coins. Triple normal rat, Jigglypuff, or Meowth, depending on version, is 15. Triple silly mole, Diglett, or Arbok is 15, depending on the game. Triple Magikarp, Poliwag, or Coughing is 15, depending on the game. And triple cherries, no matter what game, is 8 coins. I don't know why they designed different sprites, even for the ones that are identical between that are the same symbol between games, but they did. Okay, so let's just go next door before I start talking about what I'm gonna talk about here in a second. This guy. I sure do fancy that Porygon, but it's hard to win at slots. It sure is, I sure do fancy him. I had a major haul today. Good for you, old timer. We exchange coins for prizes. So this window, they sell TMs, one of which is incredibly important, and another of which is kind of important. This first one is not. This is TM23 Dragon Rage. This is the only Dragon-type move in the game. It's 100 accuracy, and it does a fixed 40 HP of damage no matter what. TM15 Hyper Beam. A 150 power normal-type move with 90 accuracy. This deals immense damage, but it has to recharge after use. But the recharge turn is skipped if this move results in a KO. This is incredibly important for the way a lot of normal types function competitively. And yeah, I'm gonna have to grind for this for one of the Pokemon I intend on using in my team, actually. And TM50, the last of the 50 TMs, is Substitute. This sacrifices a quarter of the user's maximum HP to create a substitute with equal HP to what was lost, +1. There's a lot more to this move, but it's complicated and glitchy. Essentially, think of it as the closest you're gonna get to Protect in Generation 1. Oh my god, I'm gonna have to grind for Hyper Beam. So I'm gonna be doing a lot of this off-screen because, in this window, Pinsir, Dratini, Porygon. Porygon is the only Pokemon you can get here that is exclusive to the Game Corner, and thank god I'm playing Blue version because the 9,999 coin grind sounds a lot worse than the 6,500 coin grind. And over here, Abra, Clefairy, Nidorino. We'll be talking about the Pokemon that you can actually get here later on, because right now, we don't have the beans of getting any of these. Heading back into the Game Corner, though. I'm sure you noticed him. He looks super suspicious. Hello, sir. I'm guarding this poster. Go away, or else! Rocket wants to fight. And he's getting serious. He's leading with Raticate now. Back in the day, Raticate was saved for that one guy in Mount Moon who terrified me. We're going to switch Lamp immediately for Vaporeon, and if you're wondering why the order of the team changed, it's because the game crashed at some point because of me pressing the wrong button, and I had to re-record everything, and yeah, everything's still the same, but the team order isn't because I forgot to change it to how it was. Yeah, as you can see, Vaporeon's already hitting pretty hard right off the bat just because you already get Eevee at such a high level. 25 isn't a low level. Especially when we got Vulpix at level, like, what, 16? And Zubat. That's weak to Ice Beam. Which has a really, like, weirdly nice to look at animation in this game. Alright. Dang! A hideout might be discovered. I better tell Boss. You got Boss from Metal Gear here? No way. Hey! A switch behind the poster? Let's push it! We head over here now. A staircase has been revealed. Next time on Pokemon Generation 1, we shut down whatever Operation Team Rocket is running here. See you guys then.